Ready? Yes, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am your host, Justin, and as usual, I'm here with my fellow co-host, Colby. Colby, man, how are you doing today?
I'm still recovering, man. It didn't come home.
Did you have a bin? Oh my God! Why would you start out like that? Why?
Because everywhere I go, bro, I see his face.
Oh, that. Which serial loser do you want to talk about? Let's just jump right into this today, okay? Because Colby wants to fight through the screen, so let's get into this.
I'm on the same team as you here. I wanted England to win. I just okay. Dude. I don't know if you want to start or if I want to start, but England starts a certain lineup. Southgate starts his favorites every single game, right?
Pretty much.
And then when the chips are down and there's a goal against them, he proceeds to make changes, attacking changes. Cole Palmer. And they get a goal back and they win. And it's like, hey, why not start out with these changes so that you guys can be on the front foot. But you go ahead.
Dude, there's nothing to say, man. There's like they rode Luck's coattails the entire tournament. They honestly were. I mean, Spain, before I get into England, Spain, I'm going to give them their props. They were the best team of the tournament. You know, they won all 7 games. I think they're the first team in Euro history to win every game all the way through, like no ties or anything. So they were levels above the competition. You know, they beat Germany. They beat France. Didn't they beat Croatia, too, in the groups?
Oh, maybe. I can't remember who they were in the group with.
But anyways, they beat a lot of top teams. So Spain, deservedly, they won the trophy that they deserved. But England and Gareth Southgate just... Oh, dude, it's like they lie down for them. I've never seen people like so comfortable, like just like going for extra time right from the kickoff and not even trying to win.
I mean, that's just the Southgate that we've known.
Just such
for what
losers,
the last 6
loser
years,
mentality, bro. Loser mentality. It's the same. It's the same problem I have with Kane. Like I've said it before. I'm sure Harry Kane is a super nice guy. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's a nice guy and I'd get along with great. But he's a fucking loser, bro. He's the English Michael Ballack. He's a loser. You know, this is another trophy he's lost in Germany. In his first year, he's lost another trophy. He didn't do anything the whole tournament. He was a complete ghost. Foden was a complete ghost. Jude was an on and off ghost. You know, he had that bicycle kick, like mad props. But it's just like there's so many like glaring issues. And Gareth, I don't know if he's like got the blinders of a horse on. I don't know how he does it. Like to just be so defiant and so bad.
Yeah. Well, to his credit, I guess he's somehow made it to 2 Euro finals. I don't get it, man. I think that because I asked you this off podcast, but is it worse to make it all the way to a final only to lose? Like, would you have rather England got knocked out in the group stages? Because I feel like I would have. Yeah,
probably. It's like second place is like still awesome, but it's like you're the first loser.
Right.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like and the problem is too, and I do it too, like as England fans, it's just like you get in your own head. You're like, oh, this is this fairy tale ending. We're gonna have it this year. Like we lost out last tournament. We're going to have this. Jude saved us with the bicycle kick. Saka saved it with the 30-yard out kick. Cole Palmer, same thing. It's just like we had all these moments. Oh, Ollie Watkins. Oh, man, props to that guy.
Yeah, it seemed inevitable. That was the hard part going into the final was like, oh, my gosh, like something's happening every single game. And it just,
You know, but it's like, moments are important, but like you have to play well and moments run out. And it's like when the moments ran out, like the people that were supposed to be like leading, like they were nowhere to be found. Kyle Walker, nowhere to be found. Jude, no, not really anywhere to be found that game. I thought he kind of had like Jude was like trying so hard to like, I'm going to be the guy, I'm going to step up, that it's like he made dumb mistakes. And it's like then when you played like a teammate and you just did that quick pass to Cole Palmer, like it was perfect.
Right.
So
and that's That's where, like, when every time Palmer comes on, like, it's like he's just playing free. Like, he's not thinking too much about it. He's just like, hey, let's go. And like that's the whole mode that he's in the entire time that he plays. And everybody else, I feel like, has so much like weight and pressure on your shoulder. Like, I feel like Phil Foden, it's like, what happened, man? You were one of Man City's stars.
Yeah,
and
dude.
like I don't know.
It's just, man. Like, I've never seen somebody really, besides maybe Foden, be so undisciplined at what the managers had. Like, he was asked to play left wing. And granted, I don't know Gareth Southgate's tactics. They're terrible anyways. But it's like, there were games where Phil was on the right. Like, outside of Saka. There was games where Harry Kane was as far back as Rice.
Yeah.
And it's like
I remember he made a clearance. I was like, what's going on here?
You have some great moments like that. And it's like, if you want to play that way, like, more props to you, right? I commend it that you're defensively being like, I need to help the team out. But if you have no legs to get back up to where you need to be and make runs, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, man, because like on paper, the England team looks like it could beat the Spain team. And I'm talking about from before the tournament started, right? Because Spain's been cruising through the whole tournament on like the best football that we've seen. But like everybody's kind of saying, Cucurella, Morata, Danny Olmo can't stay fit. Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. But like, I mean, for the most part, it's kind of an interesting team.
Yeah.
And then when Carvajal came out and they had to wheel in freaking like Jesus Navas to guard Mbappe in the France game, it's like I don't know how they managed, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And they played beautiful football. So
yeah, dude, they did great. You know, I think people are kind of discounting Spain too, because I think a lot of people have like the Spain of old. You know, the Spain that me and you watched in like 08, 2010, 2012.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like those freaks of nature, like midfielders playing on the wings and midfielders as strikers and all that. But this Spain team was a good team. You know what I mean? So like I said, I give them their flowers. They deserve the win. But god damn, England is so frustrating. It's so frustrating to be an English fan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been frustrating for as long as I can remember.
Yeah,
I mean,
literally. Since I can remember too, so. All right, enough about the Euros. To be honest, I didn't watch the Copa. The only thing I saw was there was people climbing through vents to get into the Colombia-Argentina game. And then I saw Messi's, like, elephantitis looking ankle. I was like, oh, my days.
Yeah, that was wild, dude. Okay, so first point, yes, the game was delayed. I think it was supposed to start at 7, and it didn't start until 7 p.m. like Texas time. It didn't start until like almost 8:30, and that was because a lot of Colombian fans were like climbing fences, like going through vents.
Yeah,
climbing over like the gate. I get it. Like getting into vents. Like where? Like, do you know where that leads? Like you got
it's like Prison Break. Like some Colombian fan has like it all tattooed on his body. He's like,
dude,
okay,
for real, like,
left.
it's like, do you have the blueprints of freaking Hard Rock Stadium? Like, where are you gonna end up? Like, where are you trying to go? Anyways, so it started late, and yeah, but I mean, it was a pretty good game. I'll say this on the Messi thing. He freaking tries, bro. And like the reason that he hurt his ankle was because he was trying to put a cross in as he was going like out towards the goal line. And so that was the initial injury, and he was kind of trying to walk it off. And then he had gone for a sprint later on in the second half and just kind of stepped weird. So it was a non-contact, the second one. And like when he took that sock off, dude, I was shocked. I was like, how did you play on this? Even for longer than you did? Like, I have no idea. It looked non-functional to me.
Yeah, how did you run?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
it's like something I told you with Wayne Rooney. How do you just tape your foot up with a broken foot and be like, yeah, I'm going to go back out?
Yeah, I have no idea, because like the guys that I play with, like you barely do anything and they're done. Like some guy left like maybe 2 minutes into our pickup game this weekend because he stepped weird and hurt his knee and had to leave. And I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, dude. Old.
Yeah.
That's what we call old. Or like bonitis from Futurama.
Got the bonitis. The bonitis. Hopefully they have a cure for that. They have a cure for that.
Yeah, but okay. Congrats to Messi. Could care less. And congrats to Spain. I'm still bitter. I'm a bitter England fan. But I'm Southgate out. I'm Kane out. I'm Walker out. I'm Foden out. I want to keep Jude. I love Jude. So I think that's the United bias in me.
Yeah. Hey, that's totally fine.
Thank you, Colby. So, my question for you, Colby, is who is your favorite number 3?
All right, I'm not going to say favorite, right? Because we've been through this process before. So we started at 3 when we started the podcast.
Did we start at 3? I
started at 3.
We did 4. Damn.
I think it was 3 because I told you Fabinho, right? Because that was my because you caught me off the cuff. That was my Liverpool pick.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been looking. And I'm going to say Mr. Gerard Piqué. Because like you said,
great shout.
Like you said, some of the best Spanish teams I can remember. 2010
Dude.
World Cup, 2012 Euro, freaking stacked all-star team. Like such a good team, dude.
Dude, Piqué was so good.
So good.
He was so phenomenal. I wish he would have stayed at United, but he did great at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal that pick because I thought we did 4, so I was gonna say Cashley, but I think that's what I said last time now, and I can't say Cashley again.
Yeah, you can't. You got to go. Yeah, even though I was watching Shakira last night, and I was thinking to myself, like, what an idiot. Like,
Dude.
what were you?
I don't know
thinking?
I don't know if I've told this story on the pod. I might have, but when I saw Barcelona play Juve. They played at a stadium. I watched like a little exhibition match, and PK came on probably like 84 minutes in. So he just kind of finished up the game. You know, he was running, and this was right after his scandal with Shakira had like all come out. Dude, Juve fans and Barca fans were like going back and forth that whole game. The moment they said his name and he stepped on field, the entire stadium was just boo. Like, they booed him the entire time, and every single time he touched the ball, you just hear boo. I heard people like, this is for Shakira. They were all just yelling. It's just like, oh, bro.
Yeah.
But
everybody knew.
No. He is arguably one of my favorite center backs of all time. Like, he was, I always call him the slide tackle king. Like, I've never seen somebody, like, just constantly slide tackle and be, like, so perfect at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good dude. And also a Tiempo wearer. So,
yes.
I mean, I gotta love that guy.
Yeah. PK, man. What a phenomenal shout.
All right, man. Let's get into this because I know that I made some purchases last week. You made some purchases last week. Mine turned out a little bit different than yours.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So last week, as I mentioned on the podcast, I ordered some F50s, the advancement pack from We Got Soccer.
Yeah.
I proceeded to receive my package on Friday, which I was really excited about because I was going to bust them out. I was going to play in my Sunday pickup. And I opened the box up, and I have one boot in there. Like one. Yeah. It was one of those like things that like it almost like breaks your brain. You're like, wait, like it just I was like, hang on.
Yeah.
Like, and I went back to the bag, you know, like the white bag. I'm like digging my hand in there. Like, am I missing something?
Well, when you sent me the picture initially, that's what my brain did. I just like kind of filled it in. And I was like, oh, cool, you got your boots. And you're like, there's only one boot. And I was like, and I had, you know, you kind of like look at the picture and you're like, oh shit, there's only one boot.
So luckily they're open on Saturdays. So
Yep.
Problems rectified. The boots are on the way back, and I'll get a refund.
Yeah, they were super cool about it, right?
They were pretty cool. I was kind of hoping they would offer me like some kind of set. Since I bought the boots on a sale, they're the last pair, or I guess it was like the last
half of the pair
left boot. Yeah. And I was thinking, I was like, is this like a display boot at one of their stores? And like nobody checked. And anyways, so I was hoping that they'd give me some kind of compensation, not in the form of money, obviously in like a form of a sale, but yeah, no dice. So I ordered the DaySpark pack today. So
nice. You
hopefully
finally took my advice.
Yeah, because you're always right.
I am always right. Even Andrew, I saw that Lockhart commented in the last video, and he was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, Colby, you need to listen to Justin.
Yeah, and I took his advice because
oh, you take his advice.
Yeah, well, I took his advice to take your advice. All right, so it's almost like a little.
Okay, that's fair.
Because today I was really close to pulling the trigger on some tequilas because New Balance, PSA, you know, public service announcement, they have a nice sale right now. So you can get some tequilas for about $150 if you go to New Balance's website. They also have a huge sale in general. So like a lot of their fuel cell running shoes, like their X Foam running shoes are on sale as well. So
awesome.
check them out.
Yeah, I know. Soccer.com is having like a pretty good blowout right now for Gold Club members. It's like it's like $5 to buy a membership, but you get discounts forever. But you can get some good New Balances also on there for sale for about $150. So yeah, good shout. Yeah, Colby, I'm really sorry that happened to you. It's like, I don't want to say I told you so, but from the get-go, I told you should just buy the Day Spark.
Just buy the Day Spark. I mean, yeah, I know. Well, it all came around in the end, didn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna move to my purchase. I bought in the advancement pack, right?
Yeah, it's the advancement pack.
I also got a pair of F50s, but I got the pluses. They finally came in.
Look at that.
Oh, it's so bright. Oh my gosh. Let me block out some of that light. But yeah, they are cool. They are a very interesting boot, to say the least. So like, I was telling you kind of off when you, okay, I'm going to try to show you guys this, and it's super hard on camera. But it like, if your foot's in here, right, the boot kind of naturally, like you stand like this, so your toes kind of just up. But like when you start moving, like your foot naturally just kind of wants to go like this. So you like want to be on your toes. This is the first boot I've ever felt where it's like I want to be on my toes. Like even running, like I'm a big heel striker, like heel toe. But in these, I kind of like, I felt like a fairy. But yeah, they're super cool. They're super comfortable. But my biggest complaint with them is actually the laceless system, which is like, oh, shocker, I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge laceless person, and I do like them, but it's like on a boot like this, like I hate to concede, but it's like you gotta have laces. Like the rollover is so bad. So bad.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, and I think I asked you this a few podcasts ago when we talked about when we first saw those boots, and I was like, do you think they're going to regret? Because people, I mean, the F50 Elite, it's a good boot, right? Like the OG one, the flat sole plate one. But for the like more hardcore speed boot guys, the guys that are going out and buying these like Puma carbons, and they're looking forward to the new Superfly Vapor because it's got like the more aggressive stud pattern. Like this is Adidas's response to those two boots, right?
Yep.
Well, I mean, you're basically saying like there's some rollover, like you don't really trust them, you need more lockdown. So it's almost like you've got like this really nice car with like this really fast engine, but like the car almost can't. Like, you can't handle it without it breaking down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you breaking down, I guess. Not necessarily the boot.
Like, the best way I can put it is, like, if you're riding, like, in a go-kart, but you don't have, like, a harness. Like, you don't have a seatbelt at all. So you're, like, going quick, and you're, like, cornering, and you're trying to hold it, but your body's literally doing, like, this because there's nothing to lock you in. That's how that boot feels. Which is crazy because, like, for example, on the Speed Portal, I have the Speed Portal Plus here, and I think that this laceless system was way better.
Yeah.
Like this one, I didn't have any issues with like rollover, which is surprising. Now,
yeah,
granted,
I tried those.
The upper's like way stiffer, which I think kind of adds to the lockdown. Like same thing with the edge. I know people don't like to hear about the edge, but I think that's like part of what the edge has going for it, and it's so much more high cut. But as like this boot is so good and so easy to get on, but I'm telling you, like this elastic is like it's elastic. Like there's nothing to hold you there. So like when I went and I tried to like plant my foot, right? So I like went, did a cut, and I planted, and I felt my ankle like tip over. And it's just like that's one of those moments where you stop and you recognize like I'm gonna get injured. Like I'm gonna get hurt if I keep continuing.
Yeah, you're gonna roll that ankle.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I feel like a trend right now is to kind of go in this direction where, for instance, like on the Tequila, everybody loves the Tequila. It's a super comfortable boot. It's it's a moldable boot. It's really well fitting. It's really, I don't want to say loose, but it's like really malleable, right? And so people have had problems with kind of like how much their foot might move like on a roll. Or for instance, I haven't tried it out yet, so I mean it could have some better lockdown than I'm thinking. But the new Superfly is also a very like soft upper, more malleable boot. So it's interesting that we're kind of in this current trend right now where there could be more, I guess, injuries like in that vein of what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's I'm very curious to see what happens with this, because with the way that F50 Plus is, I could be totally wrong. It's just like I don't see it like coming out in every colorway, and I don't see it being like as sad as it is, I don't really see it being like the pushed boot, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I've seen a ton of players wearing the laceless version of the regular Elite in the Copa and in the
Euros.
The Euros, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the only way I could tell how to fix that boot, I think it's a great boot. It just needs lace. It genuinely needs laces. Or some kind of, like I think even if, I don't even know if laces, I think they would help, but it needs almost like fly wire, like how the Superfly 4 did. That's what I've always said the Tequila needs. The Tequila, like if it just had some sort of reinforced structure.
Needs some kind of midfoot support, right?
Yeah. It would be phenomenal. That's kind of where I'm at with this F50. That's why I think the one that you have with the tunnel tongue, I think that compression tongue like helps. Excuse me. Way more than I think a lot of people let on or recognize. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a really well thought out boot, and I do like how much easier boots, like especially speed boots, are getting to put on, because that back in the day that used to be like just freaking frustrating. But yeah, I mean, you give some things, some elements that make it more comfortable and easier to get on, things like that, and it takes away from other things, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. In order to get something, you got to give something up. So I definitely think cool boot, good first time. I think that maybe the next generation, hopefully they can kind of tweak and do some design elements that can help with the lockdown. But overall, cool boot.
Yeah. All right, man.
Oh, also, I don't know, and I just want to like shout this out. I don't know, but if you look at my Instagram, I took a picture of like the boots laying, and then I took another picture where like there was a light behind it, and it just like goes straight through the upper, like so much light. Like it's a very thin, like this is like barefoot kind of boot, like old school F50s, old school Mercs, very barefoot.
Yeah. Did you notice, like I've heard that, I think it was J Mike was talking about this, how it was just kind of with the Light Strike Pro and everything, it's almost like too like bulky in that area to play with, or like the toes kind of, it's just a bit different.
It is different. I noticed like one time the way I noticed is like, sometimes like when you're going to go for like a juggle and you try to sole roll back and then kick it up, I noticed that like when I would try to do a motion like that, like my foot kind of felt off.
Oh.
You kind of like do it wrong. You kind of stop and you're like, I know how to do this, and then you keep trying, and you're like, oh, okay, there it goes.
I play soccer, yeah.
Yeah. So it was like small moments like that, or like when the ball would bounce down and you try to step on top of it to like deaden it, your foot feels off sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's not good. Yeah, you can't have that.
It's just it's not necessarily bad. It's just different. That's the best way I can word it.
Right. Is it kind of a because I know you and I have talked about the carbon model on this podcast. Is it kind of like that where it's a step in the right direction, and like you're saying, like if they had just added laces, or if they had just added a bit more like tightness to the opening of the boot, like it could be something in the future?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Like this to me now, when you're running, I will say, like when I wasn't thinking about it, it's not like I noticed it. So it wasn't like it was like, oh, this is super foamy, like the first time you wear like a Boost from Adidas or something like that. But like I said, it definitely feels good on the feet. And it, again, like growing up playing sports, your coaches are always like, get on your toes, get on your toes, get on your toes. Like this is the one of the few times where I noticed where I just like kept kind of naturally like rocking up to my toes. And so it's a different boot, cool concept. Like I said, definitely something to build on, but it definitely is like it's missing some pieces to the puzzle.
Right. All right. Speaking of missing some pieces to the puzzle, Puma just launched their Formula Pack today, which includes some pretty cool colors, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I thought the King looked phenomenal.
Yes.
The Puma, what is it? The Ultra 5. It looks good in that purple colorway.
Yeah, I like it in the purple, and the Future looks pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
Maybe could have given it a little bit more dark blue, that kind of blue that you don't like.
I said it looks like a ripoff Sancho Mercurial, like that gradual fade. It's the same colors.
Yeah.
But like out of the whole pack, like I'm not like ugh.
Right,
I would wear any of the three.
We've seen some bad Puma packs, so this is actually one of the better ones.
For sure.
I'm really interested in the Kings, man. I really, at some point, do want to try those. I think it's one of those boots that a lot of people are kind of like, but I think if I tried them, I'd really like them. Because of what I've heard about them is essentially, because it's the Puma Future Ultimate, but it's the Gen 2 version. And so they fixed the heel. They've made it a little bit more bulked out, but I believe that gives it more of like a wider fit. I think you just go like a half size up. And from what because I think the only two prominent reviews are J Mike's and Josh's. And just based off of what I saw from those, what I took it as, it almost seems like it's a faux leather speed boot sort of tightness, but it's got the same sole plate as like the Gen 1, so it's got like that nice like stiff midfoot with conical. So I'm like, that's essentially like right up my alley. So
it definitely has like a older like that faux, it's got like that faux leather like early Merc models did. Some Vapor 8s, some Vapor 9s had that faux leather grain to it. If they fix the cut of the heel, especially, and around the ankle, if they fix those two things on that King, I think that King could be one of the best synthetic upper, like,
right, yeah.
What do they call it? Classic boots,
right? Because on the Gen 1, I actually liked K better than, I can never say it. Was it Fly Touch Plus? So I like K better than Fly Touch Plus. But ironically. So you have K better and you have Fly Touch Plus, but the actual one of the best synthetic feeling leathers is these boots right here. Like the
the Hybrid Touch.
Yeah, it's super ironic. I'm like, this feels better. This feels better than both.
That OG Hybrid Touch is like phenomenal.
Yeah, it's incredible. Just like do this.
That's the most leather-like synthetic I've ever had. Is the Hybrid Touch 1.0 leather or synthetic?
Right.
No, it's cool. Like I said, Puma definitely seems to be stepping it up. Hopefully the next Future, which we should get in a couple more months.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm trying to remember. It might be longer than that, because I think my brain actually gets these two confused because the sole plate's the same. So they had the Future Ultimate with the little zigzag power tape.
Yep.
And I want to say that was out for like maybe a year. Okay. And then they switched it to like the Future 7 Ultimate, which they moved the power tape, and it's got the same. So because it has the same sole plate, and it essentially like, my brain is like, it's the same thing. So we may have like 6 more months on it.
Okay, well, hopefully once that boot runs its course and we get the new Future, that then we'll really have seen it Puma step up. Because like I said, the Ultra 5 Carbon is still really on my radar. I just I'm not paying that for those. Like, I'm just not. But even the regular Ultra 5, like from what I've heard and some consensus with people I've talked to, is they actually prefer the Ultra 5 to the Ultra 5 Carbon. So I'm like, okay, well, that's two great options. And then that King and that Batman colorway, I don't like black boots, but man, that boot looks good. And that white colorway you sent me,
I know,
that white and silver. That looks
only a matter of time.
Nice.
It's only a matter of time until those get excluded from promotions, or sorry, they get off of excluded from. Yeah, they get included with promotions, and I will definitely get a pair. So I'm hoping like Labor Day, dude. That could be it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, man. Well, hey, going off of that topic, because I mean, it's not like it's a big news week or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking of people kind of turning a corner, not that Adidas was in the dumps or anything, but this year with Adidas, we got the Predator 24 Elite, right? Which kind of knocked it out of the park from the accuracy. And then we've got the F50, which I definitely think knocks out the Crazy Fast and the Speed Portal. Just going back, cutting out the X model, right? So that's two really good upgrades. The Copa, if they knock it out of the park with the Copa, like if they go back to more of like what we've been thinking it's going to be, which is like a Copa 17-18 style boot, do you think like Adidas is going to sweep for the year of 2024?
I think they already have. I think based on just the F50 and the Predator, they've already swept Nike.
Yeah.
Easily.
Even with the new Mercurial?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one seems to be. I think a lot of people like the upper from what I've seen. I know we talked about this on the last podcast, but it seems like a lot of people really like the thinness of the upper and the fit. But it'll be. I think time will tell, and time is going to tell like if people really like the lockdown on those, because it just seems to be a bit different than everything that came before.
Yeah.
Minus like something like the Vapor 13.
Yeah. See, I was gonna say it looks very like in between Superfly 4 and Vapor 13.
Mm-hmm.
But still even less structured than the Vapor 13. Like it looks like a very free boot. So this might just be one of those ones where me and you have to suck it up. We are gonna have to get a pair and try them out, because
pull our pennies together, buy like one pair in between our sizes.
Not eat between us and our children, and just buy some boots.
Yeah, yeah.
But but I also don't know, because like the Phantom isn't a really. It is a free-flowing upper, but nobody really complains about lack of lockdown in it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Nike is on to something that we just don't know yet, because we haven't tried them out.
That's a good point, because I've tried the Tequila Plus model. I've tried the GX2, and I will say GX2 definitely has more lockdown. I prefer the Furon sole plate. I think the Furon's more comfortable, or not the Furon, excuse me, the Tequila. I think the Tequila is more comfortable. But it'll be interesting, because I don't know how soon. Speaking of like this great speed boot battle of the summer of 2024, we have not seen the Furon come out yet. I don't know exactly when that's going to be released. Do you think that we're going to see the Furon V8 this fall to kind of sort of compete a little bit later with?
I think so. I think the Furon might come out closer to the season.
Okay.
Just to kind of milk out some of these last colorways, because... Is the Furon due for an update, or is the Tequila due for an update first?
They're both kind of on the same cycle. I think the pluses, because I want to say that the Furon V7 and the Tequila V4 came out about the same time, because they both had like this black. I think was it a black and gold colorway in late 2022.
You're right. Yeah, Noah had them with the gold little speckles in them.
Yeah. So I think they're on the same life cycle, and they got an update in early 2024. So it'll be interesting to see. I think if they get, like you were talking about, some structure in the midfoot of the Tequila, like some kind of like Flywire almost type, then it'll be a huge hit. Make that sole plate a little stiffer. So
okay, here's a question I want to present to you, just because of the way we've talked about New Balance and how much we have enjoyed them. Okay, so the big three is obviously Nike, Adidas, Puma, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, there's nothing that any other brand could do to overtake and become like part of the big three.
That's a good point.
Like it's kind of a hot. I get it's a hot take. It's kind of like a weird shout, but it's like New Balance is absolutely killing it. And besides like us and our friends, like I've never seen somebody wear a New Balance boot. I've never seen somebody wear a Skechers boot.
Yeah, that's that's a good point.
Yeah.
And do you think that's to do with basically like war chests over decades of having like athletes in Nike boots and Adidas boots and Puma boots, and they just have all of this, basically years and years and years in this market, and they have so many players on their payroll essentially that like, you can, like, as New Balance, you can find players like Saka and Mane and, like the Tim Weahs to kind of wear your boots, Harvey Elliott's, but it's not Mbappe.
There's no Ronaldos.
Right.
There's no
Ronaldo. Right.
There's no Messi's.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe Endrick, you could say, if he moves to is he going to Madrid as well? Endrick? Yes.
He had that. Did you not see his last game?
Oh,
one pass.
Yeah.
And it was on kickoff.
To be fair though, he was getting his ass beat, dude. They were beating that kid down. I'm just saying.
In this one pass.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
One pass.
Okay.
That's like
things might be different.
Numbers.
Things might be different. It might be different when he moves. Who knows?
Maybe. But it's just like, it's not even like New Balance that I think. I think of like Mizuno. Asics is very niche of a niche. Like, I honestly, I
at least here in the States.
I was gonna say, I know Asics because of freaking Noah. That was the first person who I ever saw, and then Lockhart. Andrew. Once I talked to him, but it's like before them, I would have never gave him a I wouldn't even, I would be like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. And they're just so hard to get here. But it's like, like I don't know what New Balance could do to break into the top 3. I don't know what Mizuno could do.
Well, it's frustrating that it's a frustrating problem because I wholeheartedly think that New Balance is genuinely doing a much better job than Puma, and I think they've been doing a much better job than Puma for the last at least 2 years. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I have to watch a lot of these players keep playing in these futures and the new Ultras changed obviously, but like the previous gen Ultra, and to know that there's such crappy boots and that a lot of these players would almost prefer to be wearing Furons or Tequelas, it's like that sucks. And the only people who really know that are people who really pay attention in this industry. Yeah.
General like boot nerds, boot enthusiasts, those are the only people who know. But it's just like I don't know if maybe it's an availability thing. Mm-hmm. Because I don't even feel like Puma is really at like maybe they're at Dick's a little bit, but nobody's at like Academy for us or stuff like that. You know, it's usually Nike takedowns, Adidas takedowns. Yeah. But it's just like I don't know, and it's like I don't even know what a brand could do to like overtake it.
Yeah, and to be fair to, because I want to keep picking up New Balance because I feel like they're just outside of that big 3, really knocking at the door, saying "let me in." But I was watching, going back to the Copa America last night, and it's just a sea of like advancement pack Adidas boots, like the Predators, Japan Blue, and the F50s, and they got James Rodriguez. And and he's obviously a big playmaker, at least in international competition. And I kept looking at him in those new, and that's why I looked online. I was like, how much are these right now? And those stood out in that game on a prominent player. So I guess for the most part they're doing what they can do, and that did stand out to me last night in that game. Yeah,
for sure. And it's just like see, and that's like the crappy thing is it's like he did great, blah, blah, blah. He's doing New Balance, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, imagine if that would have been 2014 World Cup and he was wearing New Balance. You know what I mean? Yeah. When he did that freak of nature goal. Yeah. But it's like, no, he's wearing the Battle Pack F50s, and then he got his own gold Battle Pack. So it's like, oh, I want F50s, I want F50s. It's just like, they're on the cusp. Like, I think it's great that they got Saka, especially with how amazing he's been. And it's like, yeah, he's young, but it's just like, they gotta get that. They gotta find like that superstar that's been with them. Like that's why I think that Adidas, especially with the Pred, has been so good because it's like Jude, super young, this freak of nature player, basically like for some people like Zidane reincarnated. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, he lives up to that Pred name. And then it's like, oh, Trent's got these crazy crosses. He's English. He lives up to that Beckham name. And, they both have, like, screamers for first game, so everybody loves them. Messi's got his own F50. That alone is going to sell that boot. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I don't know who New Balance could even get right now. And I think you said Endrick, so maybe. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, I don't know who they could get right now. And it would be like, oh, yeah, I want those boots. You know what I mean? Because we see players, like I'm a grown man, but I still do it. I'll see players wear something. I'm like, yeah, I want to try those. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll try them out.
Literally just did it last night with James. I was like, I want to look that up right now, see how much those are. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but we're also boot enthusiasts. It's like, well, who would, for a normal watcher, a normal, player or wearer, who would they have to see wearing a pair of New Balance to be like, that's what I'm going to get? It'd have to be like Ronaldo, dude. Because I remember,
but he's on his way out.
No. I'm saying like it would have to be that I'm not saying specifically Ronaldo. I'm saying that caliber because I remember back in I want to say it was like 2009, 2010, like really wanting a pair of Mercs because Ronaldo wore Mercs, and it looked at the time so much cooler than like the Tampa Legend 3s because the Tampa Legend 3 still had like the Velcro fold over tongue. I was that's not sleek, that's not cool, and then I'm gonna go tear my ACL in some Mercs. So, but yeah.
Yeah, so
they need somebody like that.
Something to think about, and if you have any suggestions, let us know in those comments below. And while you're down there, hit like, hit subscribe,
If you have any suggestions for who New Balance should pick up as their number one player, Justin and I will be the in-between. Yeah, we'll be the...
we'll let New Balance know who to shoot money out to.
For real.
Colby, is there anything else that we need to discuss before we get out of here? Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm like sweating so bad. I'm like drenched. But I keep fixing my hair so y'all can see this beautiful hairline.
I know. Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, it's gorgeous. I don't think so, man. I think, we'll keep it shorter today because it hasn't been, like I said, a week of huge news. Just wrapping up some, some cup finals. And,
the end of the year and football.
Basically.
Yeah, it's like the end of the year.
Yeah.
Colby, tell me so we can let the people know where they can find you.
You guys can find me at Kicking with Colbs on YouTube and at Kicking with Colbs on Instagram.
My name's Justin. You can find me at Texas Cleat Collector on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm TikToking these days. You can also find us at BootcastPod if you have any questions, any shout-outs, anything boot related that you want us to talk about. Let us either know through DMs or, like I said, let us know in the comments below, and we will get to that on the next episode. And with that, we are going to say goodnight, guys. Take care.